Welcome back to a new video, and today we are going to be talking about the Alaska Senate showdown between incumbent Lisa Murkowski and Trump-endorsed challenger, Kelly Tshibaka. So up here I have a recent poll from the Alaska Survey Research with a sample size of under 1,000 people that has Lisa Murkowski 10 to 9 points ahead of Kelly Tshibaka, and older polls from earlier in the summer that have Tshibaka actually having a massive lead. So if there's one thing I know about Alaska politics in recent years is that the polling is notoriously unreliable and that you cannot trust polling out of Alaska. I remember before the election in 2020, all the way into October, pollsters were acting as if Alaska was in play, and truly, if you look at the 2020 presidential election results, it really wasn't. Trump won by 10 points in Alaska, and surprisingly, mostly in the Anchorage suburban area and even downtown area in some parts. It's really Juneau that favors the Democrats in Alaska. But that we are not talking about Donald Trump or Joe Biden today. We are actually talking about the ever-important Senate seat in Alaska. So Lisa Murkowski has been historically critical of Trump during and even after his presidency. In February, during Donald Trump's second impeachment trial, Lisa Murkowski voted to convict former President Trump for inciting an insurrection on January 6th. So a primary opponent like Kelly Tshibaka is the perfect opportunity for Trump to get his revenge on his truly political nemesis, Kelly Loeffler. So as you can see here, Lisa Murkowski has not actually said whether or not she is running for Senate in 2022 up until 2021 in March when Kelly Tshibaka launched her campaign. Many people just assumed Lisa Murkowski would be running in 2022. Lisa Murkowski is only 64, so many would predict Lisa to have a continuing political career. But as you can see here, she has publicly expressed interest, along with Fox News host Laura Ingraham and Sarah Palin, the former governor of Alaska, which if she entered the race would truly make a very different scenario. But today we are only talking about Lisa Murkowski and Kelly Tshibaka, who does not even have a Wikipedia page yet, but it says that she was the former commissioner of the Alaska Department of Administration. So I don't know what a Department of Administration would be, but it sounds as if Kelly Tshibaka had a high standing in a local area. I do not know where Kelly Tshibaka is from, however. So we see here, Lisa Murkowski is actually significantly less popular than Donald Trump in her home state. In 2016, Trump won Alaska with 51% of the vote, and Lisa Murkowski only won with 46% of the vote. So this is a really good indicator to see how Murkowski would perform against a Trump-endorsed candidate like Tshibaka. Earlier in 2020, Trump won Alaska by 10 points, so it was not very close. And incumbent Senator Dan Sullivan, who has agreed with Trump for many of his policy issues, actually won the state by nearly 13%. And that is all thanks to the Anchorage suburban area, which has significantly given Alaska Republicans in Congress for a long time. As you can see here, there are 3 cities in Alaska: Anchorage, Fairbanks, and Juneau. There are more villages, but real cities. And Anchorage is a very conservative city, whereas Juneau, the capital, is actually a pretty liberal city, which has gone blue for a long time. And then there's Fairbanks, which seems to be pretty independent, but actually went for Al Gross in 2020. So if Murkowski is going to have to challenge a primary against Kelly Tshibaka, she would need to really focus on trying to pull moderate Democrats from the South Juneau area or Fairbanks suburban area, or even from the sparsely populated west coast of Alaska to her while trying to retain Republican votes in the southern Alaskan area in near Anchorage. And up until 2016, Lisa Murkowski has done a good job at pulling independent voters her way. In her first Senate race in 2004, Murkowski won by a little over 3 points, which is actually very close for Alaska. In 2010, she won by a very small amount because she ran as a write-in candidate as an independent in 2010. And then in 2016, she ran again as a Republican. And this was her first race where she had a massive victorious margin. So many people, including Murkowski herself, were confident that she would have a safe standing in 2022. However, that is not really the case because Kelly Tshibaka is very, very popular amongst the Trump wing of the Republican Party. As you can see here, she was endorsed by Donald Trump and the current governor of Alaska, which was a very surprising endorsement. But really, the two main significant endorsements come from Donald Trump, like I already said, but the Alaska Republican Party. For the Alaskan Republican Party to endorse a non-incumbent Republican against a actually pretty popular moderate Lisa Murkowski is shocking and is a devastating blow to Murkowski. As you can see, Murkowski has received many endorsements from the Senate Leadership Fund, Senator Susan Collins, Joe Manchin, the moderate Democrat from West Virginia, even Mitch McConnell, and Dan Sullivan, her partner in Congress. However, all of those endorsements, even from Mitch McConnell and the Senate Majority Fund, cannot get Murkowski out of the hole. Back whenever Tshibaka first started her campaign, she was beating Lisa Murkowski by 15% in the polls. Now, those numbers have slightly dropped since, as you can see in the last polls in late July. However, it is very troubling for Lisa Murkowski to see that she is losing her seat in the polls by 15%. And the reason I'm not talking about the Democrat is because, as you can see here, the Cook Political Report, Inside Election, Sabato Crystal Ball, they all rate the Alaska Senate race to be a solid win for the Republicans, no matter who is running, Murkowski or Tshibaka. And it is not Chewbacca, it is Tshibaka, like with an I after the CH. So, with that said, it would be a major blow to the small but mighty moderate wing of the Republican Party that includes Susan Collins, who just won her seat in 2020 against a popular Democrat in her home state. It would be a major blow, and however, a significant win for the Trump wing of the party, and would add one more senator that would help Donald Trump stop legislation from the current President Joe Biden or proceed with legislation if Trump were to run and win in 2024. So the Alaska race will be a big race to follow. We still don't know if Lisa Murkowski will be running, but pretty much whatever Republican runs will likely, if not definitely, win. And Kelly Tshibaka is a very, very strong opponent against incumbent Republican Lisa Murkowski. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and follow on Instagram. Have a good day.